Good afternoon, and welcome to the Andy Show. It is the 22nd of June. We are officially in summer and still in lockdown. But never mind. At least we can see the sun outside the windows. I have not one. I have not two. I have three fantastic guests for you today here on Disruptive Live. I have Dr. Mauro Arruda, the CEO of Smartia. Welcome.
Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for inviting me to the show. It's a pleasure.
It's not a problem at all. I'm looking forward to this. So do you want to tell me about Smartia and tell us about you as well?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Smartia. We've been going for 2 years, so pretty fresh off the blocks, but really exciting 2 years. I've been in industrial sectors for quite a while. So I'm an aeronautical engineer by training. I did a PhD in propulsion, really focusing aerodynamics. My thesis for my master's was in artificial intelligence, but really, since a young age, I've been really very geeky, really, in between football and ping pong, which is my sport. Yeah, but programming was the thing that I really enjoyed doing. So this thing about artificial intelligence, engineering, machines is always been in my blood, really. So in Smartia, it's all about that. So it's a fusion, really, between machines, industrial sectors, and software and artificial intelligence. So Smartia, we really call ourselves an industrial AI technology company. And yeah, so pretty exciting stuff.
I love things that are in the industrial space, and I love things that are in the AI space. I want to know what industrial AI. How would you define industrial AI?
Yeah, so that's it. So people talk about artificial intelligence. There's all this intelligence through software and through data that allows you to do really clever stuff and get kind of cognitive abilities that humans have. But in the software world, industrial AI is really applying this technology for industrial applications. And really, more specifically, I would say it's really a fusion between automating processes and robotics with artificial intelligence. What we love, one of the bottom line things that in really our vision, things that we're trying to do is make machines more intelligent, really within the industrial sector. Why are we bothering about it? It's all about reducing waste. It's all about reducing machine downtime, make industrial companies more productive. There's been a really good study by the government in the past few years called Made Smarter Review. UK companies have been wasting £650 billion a year. So collectively, just because they're not using information that they have efficiently and in the best way. So we've really tried to make a push for intelligence in these industrial sectors, but yeah, it's interesting. So, and in my industrial sectors, just to clarify, I mean anything from aerospace to automotive industries to traditional steel manufacturing industries, utility companies, water, electricity, energy. Every company that is actually using large industrial systems to operate and develop and offer a service.
So, I mean, the problem with AI has always been that it's such a marketing word. It can be applied to anything. You've got plugins on WordPress. Everything's suddenly an AI plugin, and it's not really. But this is really interesting stuff. So this is actually delivering an outcome. But can you give us an example of some of the areas that maybe this is used from?
Yeah, no. So imagine AI gives you these cognitive abilities, and we're giving these abilities to industrial processes, into machines. So, for example, the ability to see and identify objects. So we've got a really cool use case that we worked with a water utility company where actually, it's not very sexy use case. It's on sewage tunnels. What they do, they've got these robotic crawlers that they send in the tunnels. some video capturing systems, and all they look, and they send the systems down to look for cracks, defects, contamination, like blockages and stuff. And typically there's an operator at the other end looking at these videos and trying to make decisions. So one of the use cases is using computer vision. They can actually be talking to this crawler, and he's looking at the images, identifying cracks in the tunnels, contamination, sending information back to the operators. But more importantly, if something is interesting is spotted, the machine intelligence can tell the crawler, look, slow down now, let's have a look at these particular areas. So providing that kind of intelligence to these machines, that in that particular project, you can cover 3 times the amount of sewage tunnels that you would if by just having a human looking at the images, and potentially not very pleasant images as well. So we've got other use cases. So you go from sewage to very kind of highly kind of advanced manufacturing and technologies. For example, in renewable energy, so we can detect failures in systems before they happen. So in wind turbines, gearboxes is one of the main concerns. They go just because of the turbulence, the winds, and they just go very frequently, and they cost a lot of money to repair and a lot of downtime. So if you can predict failures that these machines or the gearbox in this particular case are going to fail in advance, you can actually plan all that work. You can send a team of engineers to replace it, or just reduce slightly the mode of operational mode of that machine so that it lasts a bit longer. So we've developed that intelligence that we can deploy in these wind turbines, that when the thing is sending all the right or the wrong signals, we can tell an operator, look, something is not going right, and we might even be able to stop the machine before it breaks. So all that, this kind of use case is really, it's really bringing kind of intelligence to machines, really.
It's truly fascinating. It's truly fascinating, and I could talk to you about some of the case studies all day, but I'm not going to. Let's stick to the topic. Let's say industrial AI projects. Look, so industrial AI, you mentioned wind turbines, they're very big things. Hardware, actually, the IT around it. What are there challenges? Do you face challenges when it comes to actually?
It's a massive problem. So don't forget AI. So AI is all about the data. First of all, it's the thing that feeds these algorithms. AI is no more than algorithms. So it's software. It's software that is really driven by the data that is being fed. So as you can imagine, there's tons of data, and more data is being generated by industrial assets, wind turbines, robotic systems, automation, all sorts of systems. And so the challenges really for AI are threefold. There's 3 main areas. First, you have to capture all this data. We're talking about terabytes, petabytes a day sometimes, depending on the systems. Then you have to move this data somewhere where you can actually process it. And then you might be quite locally, quite close to the machine, quite close to the asset, and you can process. So it's what we call edge processing. But you need hardware to do that. But you might want to send that to the cloud, where practically you might have infinite amount of computational power and storage. But how do you get the data there? So there's massive challenges about how do you collect data, how do you process data locally, and how do you push that data to the cloud, and then how do you make that happen so that the data is processed? So the other thing about artificial intelligence, the algorithms are slightly different, and they're all slightly different. Some are really kind of hungry for GPU resource, graphical processing units. Some are just more standard, it can be on CPUs. But the fact that the hardware itself and the architectures of the hardware are different, what that makes is that how do you standardize the hardware they're using for artificial intelligence? So a lot of cool technology and is coming out in terms of the hardware, but really, I think we're seeing a massive change, especially for industrial applications, is the hardware that has been put into the cloud and servers in the cloud is now moving quite close to the edge, to the machines, just because of the amount of data that needs to be moved across, and also the time of the decisions. Some of the decisions that these algorithms have to make it could make or break a machine if the solution or the response from the algorithm doesn't get to the machine quick enough. The thing just might have gone. So we see a massive shifts from processing moving from the cloud close to the machines, and edge processing being really key. And interesting that AWS just last week just launched their new kind of edge processing unit. Yes. And even the big cloud providers now thinking, oh, hold on a second, data is moving close to the machine, so we need to provide hardware. So it's a very complex system, and evolving. It's massively evolving hardware ecosystem at the moment.
Well, I mean, as you mentioned AWS there, but as Smartia, you're doing incredibly complicated things. I imagine that you need to work with a range of technology partners in order to pull this off and focus on the things you're really good at. Is that the case?
Totally. As you can imagine, so there's a huge range of technologies. So we go from automation, connecting to these things, edge processing, computing close to these, data transfer, massive data centers, and then all the data science, the artificial intelligence, actually producing and creating these algorithms that process the data. So I don't think there's nobody that can really claim that they can cover all this. It's such a wide spectrum of technology.
It's huge,
Totally. So we're partnering with loads of technology providers. So Lenovo is one of our main providers and partners in the hardware world. We've got NVIDIA, just part of the NVIDIA Inception startup program, where we using the power of GPUs to process information at the edge. For example, we've got software partners like KX, who are the makers of the fastest database in the world, pretty much. So we use that because we need that power to process the information that we're doing. But the other thing is there's an infinite amount of applications for data and how we can use artificial intelligence. As you mentioned, we could be talking about use cases for days to come. And because of that, we also partner with specific experts in specific sectors. We're partnering with Ricata IT. They're an IT provider, but they work really across different industrial sectors and retail as well. And we partner with them because they understand those markets. We understand the technology and the intelligence, and we're happy to ship it with them.
Good. I love it. I love the collaboration, and I love the technology. Okay, so I want to get. Let's say I've got an organization. I want to get into AI. I'm going to ask the doctor, how do I actually start if I wanted to get into AI?
Yeah, trust me, I'm a doctor. So the thing is, AI professionals are coming from a wide range of backgrounds. Because don't forget, you don't go to uni and do I'm going to do an AI course or a data science application. It's really, you had mathematicians and all those clever guys really do. So we see a lot of AI professionals coming from engineering, coming from finance, coming from medical sciences, because they needed to use this. So 3 steps. You want to get into AI, 3 steps. Get to understand the basics. So there's loads of material. A lot of the best data scientists at the moment in the world that were self-taught. People that pick up, go online. There's loads of good material. I did loads of them. Coursera, I don't know if you know Coursera.
Yep.
Coursera. I've got loads of interesting courses. There's a really started one called AI for Everyone. I'm a big fan of this guy who started Coursera. It's called Andrew Ng. You worked at Google, Baidu, and stuff. So go and check out Coursera. AI for Everyone is a really good starter kit. You've got introduction to AI in a few. So understand the basics. Understand this is not. We're not talking about. I I don't know, Robocop or the Terminator. We're talking about real scientific stuff that is really useful. Understand the basics. Second, get involved in your local AI network. So like meetup clubs. So we, for example, in Bristol, we just partnered with deeplearning.ai, which was founded by Andrew Ng. So we're going to be running meetup meetings. It's called Online Pioneer AI in Bristol. And we talk, so just get involved in those communities. There's loads of very active communities in artificial intelligence where they exchange experiences. And third, get your hands dirty, really. So there's loads of stuff online now that you can actually go into competitions and partner with world-class experts in AI. So things like Kaggle. Google runs this competition called Kaggle. You go online and you can just be part of this massive community and actually using AI for real cases. They provide all the data and stuff. So really, those 3 steps: understand it, get involved, get your hands dirty. There's no other way. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
I absolutely love your enthusiasm and your passion for this, and it's amazing. I absolutely love it. I'm going to ask you one last question before I let you go. What's on the picture behind you?
Oh, that's a classic. A classic car of, anything machine. So I love. I wanted to, when I put that up. What I'm really looking at that. It's not the car. I'm a geek. What I really like is all the little knobs and all the things, the things that you can fiddle. So it's a car. Yeah, classic car.
Thank you for not only impassioned but also an entertaining interview. That was absolutely fantastic, and I look forward to speaking to you again. I think it's a real industrial AI. It just sounds so fascinating. I'd love to cover this again sometime. But thank you so much for your time. You've been a fantastic guest. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Cheers.
Thank you. Well, that was Industrial AI with Dr. Mauro Arruda, the CEO of Smartia. What a great way to end the show. Well, you have been watching the Andy Show on the 22nd of June, 2020. The time is now coming up to 19 minutes past 1. Don't forget you can join us on Disruptive Live on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, and our website every single weekday. Until tomorrow, I'll see you soon.